Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start this one over again just so I'm not rushing, because this is probably the hardest part of this, is to figure out how to do this. So, again, we said that we have to multiply by what's called the conjugate. So the conjugate is the opposite of what's in the bottom. So it's negative 2 plus 5i. That's the opposite. Negative 2 plus 5i. So in the top, I'm going to distribute this. So I get negative 12i and plus 30i squared. Okay, the denominator I have to FOIL. So my first is going to be a positive 4. My outer is going to be a negative 10i. My inner is going to be a positive 10i. And my last is going to be negative 5i squared. Okay, so here's why we multiply by the conjugate. Because the outer and inner are going to add up to 0. They're going to cancel each other out. And this is really negative 5 times negative 1. So that's 5. So my denominator on this is really a 9. Okay, because I got rid of everything else. So the only thing left that I can simplify is the 30i squared. So I get negative 12i minus 30, because that's really times a negative 1 over 9. And then I look to see if I can reduce them all by the same thing. Well, these are all divisible by 3. Okay, so this divisible by 3 is 4. That divisible by 3 is 10. That divisible by 3 is 3. So your final answer is negative 4i minus 10 over 3. Okay, so let's do that again with number 28. Okay, so the conjugate of this is negative 9 minus 9i. Negative 9 minus 9i. So this is going to go to both of them. So I'm going to go ahead and reduce my foiling part from over here. So that's going to give me a numerator of negative 36i minus 36i squared. Okay, then I go to my denominator, and I have to FOIL the denominator out. So my first is going to be 81 from this. Then my outer goes out here, so it's going to be 81i. This should have been an 81. 81i. My inner is going to be a negative 81i from this. And my last is going to be negative 81i squared. Okay, so here's what I know. My outer inner go away. This is really negative 81 times negative 1, so it's a positive 81. So here's my two numbers. They're both positive 81s, so that gives me 162. I believe these are all divisible by 18. So that's going to give me negative 2i. This is really going to become negative 1, so it's going to become plus 36, which becomes plus 2. And then 162 divided by 18 is 9. And that's your answer. Okay, so one more when you have to do it to the top and to the bottom. The conjugate of this is 5 minus 3i, 5 minus 3i. The only difference in this is you have to FOIL both the top and the bottom. So this is for my numerator. When I FOIL the top, I get 45 from here. My outer is negative 27i. My inner is negative 5i. And my last is positive 3i squared. Okay, well this 3i squared really becomes a negative 3. So this and this go together. And I'm going to cross that out for right now and just work in my numerator to give me 42. Then my i's go together, and they're both negative, so that's going to be a negative 32i. And I can go ahead and leave that. So now I have to FOIL the bottom. When I FOIL the bottom, my first is 25. My outer, minus 15i. My inner is plus 15i. And my last is minus 9i squared. So minus 9i squared is really negative 9 times negative 1. So that's positive 9. So that's going to go together with this. And then my outer inner cancel each other out. So 45 plus 9 gives me 34. And the last thing is to look and see if I can divide it by anything. Well, all of these are even numbers, so I can divide it by 2. I get 21 minus 16i over 17. And that's my final answer. There's just a lot of steps to it. It's not that hard. It just takes a while.